Good morning, everyone. Hope you're well. My name is Lwazi Shamase.
My name is Kirsten Lake, and welcome to Decoded.
Where we make simple things easier to explain. Now, today we have a follow-up guest with us today, Kirsten, and I am a pleasure to introduce our famed guest that joins us today, Mr. Emmanuel Fousteris. Emmanuel, welcome to the Decoded podcast. How are you today?
My man, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me today. Really appreciate it. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Remember, I'm just not alone here. I've got Kirsten Lake as well in Toya. And today we have a wonderful topic. This time we're going to actually do something very interesting with you. And we want to know who you are, where you come from, what you're about, what's your background in the tech space, and that transition. Because I read up on you, mister. And let me tell you something. You come from finance all the way into IT. Now, please tell the viewers and listeners here, tell us about that journey, that transition into this great land of IT.
So IT is a good standpoint to come from, but it is the end, which we are now. Well, there will be progressions, but initially starting out, I didn't know what I wanted to do, like any youngster. So you leave high school, you go into varsity, and you sort of think, what am I going to do today? You know what I mean? Your parents are like, go to varsity, and you actually just rock up there. You're like, okay, guys, what do you suggest? So I started off in accounting. Long story short, absolutely hated it. So some friends of mine were like, oh, why don't you pivot into finance? So I was like, okay, that's not a bad idea. What sort of finance options are there? So like there are quite a few. So you can do economics, you can do finance, you can do taxation, you can do many different things. But the thing that caught my eye was economics and investments. So economics, absolutely. In a nutshell, economics is the allocation of scarce resources or a number of limited resources to the best possible cause given your objectives, right? Everyone thinks, oh, you're just monitoring GDP and inflation rates and monetary supply. That's not actually the case. Those are byproducts. You have a single objective. You're going to take all those resources, put them towards what you want to do, and then you're going to see the repercussions of that. So if you increase inflation rate, you're going to affect interest rates. You're going to affect a whole bunch of, currency flowing into the economy. So when I heard about that, I was like, oh, this is very interesting. So then finished that, economics and investments, went on to the workforce like a new graduate thinking, oh my gosh, super hot stuff. Went for a few interviews, a lot of the banks, insurance companies, and they said to me, look, young man, you've done a great job, but a lot of your job's automated now. So I was like, oh, really? I got some good advice in one interview where the interviewee said, what you should do is possibly go and check out the tech element of your job. Because you've been automated, why don't you go do some automation? I was like, great. And that started the tech journey. So from there, I actually went into another number of different roles. I went into being a brand executive in marketing. I went through for some sales roles, etc., etc.
And the financial analyst, as I read.
Correct, yes. I did do a stint as a finance analyst because I love numbers. So I've got a sibling, she's more involved in the language side and I've got the numbers. So we kind of helped each other until sibling rivalry, trying to become the best of the best.
It happens.
Absolutely. So then how I got into full steam tech and what I do now, which is Salesforce, I was at a farewell for some friends who were immigrating to another country, and I bumped into an old friend of mine, and he was currently at that time serving as CTO of a big taxation and VAT company in the country. So he said to me, what are you doing now? I'm like, no, I work for a cloud company I'm heading up their sales team. So he's like, okay, do you want to get more technical? I said, I don't mind. He's like, look, I just got certified as a Salesforce administrator, and this comes from a CA, right? Salesforce administrator. He's looking to do away with his CA and go full steam ahead with tech. So I said, okay, how did you do that? He's like, literally, I'll just send you all the information if you're keen to find the resources, get your certification, start pivoting. I'm like, incredible. So lo and behold, I go to get certified, write the first exam, fail the exam.
Yeah.
As one does who doesn't have hands-on experience in a given platform.
Agreed.
After that, what I did was I just kept trying and trying. So on the second attempt, passed it. Great. So now I've got the certification. And that's a highlight to just something to bring to light here is failure is not the end. It's learning. Always getting feedback when you fail at something. You aren't going in there trying to prove yourself 100% right all the time because then you're not learning.
Exactly.
So all I did was I took my pain points from the first session, took it to the second session and passed the exam. Now you go out and you start looking for work.
And that's when I can see you started as a part-timer like John Cena. So
correct.
You went to full-time. So now that you got the certified Salesforce administrator certs, now I'm in the workplace. that journey? What happened? Was it painful? Was it easy? Tell me the experience.
That's a good question. It's more frustrating than it is painful because you read online and everyone says to you, oh, just get the certification and now you'll be able to get a job in that specific industry, which as we know is
not the case at all.
No.
Because you're literally starting out as a newbie.
Yeah.
So what I did was I attended a career day, an online one. This was just about as COVID was ending and everything was opening up again after lockdown. And I went into a number of virtual rooms with all the big consultancies, the banks, some that insurance houses I'd interviewed with before. They were like, oh, what are you doing here? I'm like, no, I've pivoted now. They're like, okay, interesting. Had a few discussions, made a few good impressions. And what I did was I spun up a separate Salesforce org to track those engagements. And just to remind myself to follow up with recruiters and people that were sort of in the space. So about 2-3 months after that, a reminder came up on my org and I got an email because I automated that stuff, obviously.
Just have to, some nice...
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, send me this email on this date. Perfect. And what I did was I followed up with a recruiter. So I gave her a call. She's like, hi, sorry, nothing for you at this moment. It was a very generic response, but keep looking on our website and we'll be happy to keep you in mind. We have your stuff on record. Okay, great. The very next day, she phones me. She's like, hi, you still looking? I got something for you. I'm like, incredible. What is it? She's like, possible consulting gig. I'm like, absolutely. Let's do the interview. So this is happening in Stream A. Parallel to that though, there is an organization, a non-profit that I used to be a part of. It's a youth development organization. And when I left there, they were still doing strong, but COVID had completely annihilated them because it's in person. You go there, you learn how to track, survive in the wild. You can build tents. They teach you how to build structures, how to garden, how to farm, like basic human, tactics or skills, right?
Skills, yeah.
So I saw a couple of posts on Facebook a while just after that, just after COVID locked up, and I phoned the lady who was heading it up because we were there at the same time. I said, what's going on here? The numbers are like, they've dwindled. She's like, well, COVID has annihilated us. Okay, what do you suggest we do? So she says, look, I have no idea, but if this continues, we're going to have to close this place down. Okay. I said to her, look, Salesforce offers non-profit organizations or instances of the platform. And I said, we can use this with your skills in web design and development in order to create an experience that can hopefully attract people back to the organization. She's like, cool, I'm happy to brainstorm. Let's set up a session. So we did. What we did from there was we built a website. We actually just modernized theirs. It was on a very old instance of platform. So she converted all to modern day scripting. I don't know what to use for web dev. JavaScript is whatever. CSS. And then we backlinked that onto this nonprofit platform that we were given by Salesforce because you get free licenses as well.
Right.
And all we did was link it to the Salesforce instance, ran some campaigns in terms of we aren't just a youth development organization looking for, dare I say, sympathy. Come join us, please donate. We made an active experience. So we said to people, we host these Saturday events where your children can learn how to survive in the wild, track animals, make a fire, build a tent, cook. If there's any specific skills you want, we have a suggestion box. Please drop some suggestions. We had some incredible suggestions. Some of them were like, we just want them to learn how to bake. Basic baking skills. So we had an individual who ran a delicatessen. She's like, I'm happy to give sessions on a Sunday for an hour. Contribute back. Perfect. After that, we went from about 12 to 13 people, pushing it up to now, I think it's about 115.
Yeah.
And it's all thanks to posting on various websites, various blogs saying, bring your children to this place. This is an experience now. It's not just a place to come and learn. And it's created a recurring revenue stream for the organization. So now they're fully...
And this was you just building using Salesforce.
Correct. So Salesforce, Salesforce with the website to sort of generate leads. But the power of these platforms is that you don't actually have to have someone there constantly phoning, hi, do you still want to ABC?
You can automate.
It's like, correct, do you want to donate? There's our little link. How do you want to get involved? And so we've turned that into something that is hopefully going to sustain the organization in the long term.
That is really innovative stuff.
Also, I wanted to say, I know that this kind of conversation is different to what we've usually done in the tech space, but I just wanted to bring back like to the viewers the reason why we're having conversations like this, right? And the reason why we're going to start introducing a segment where we interview people in the field is to remind the youth or the people coming into the job market that I know that it seems like there's 3 main jobs that you can go into. It's like accounting, lawyer, or doctor.
Right.
And if you don't get into those 3 things and you're kind of thinking, well, what am I going to do with my life? I have multiple other interests and, you know, I don't want to go. It's a lot of those markets as well are oversaturated.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much just to also find out like what other ways can you pivot, what other ways like you can be a professional with multiple skills, and you can utilize those skills to actually have a job that's completely different to what you were told growing up.
Agreed with that, Kirsten. And look, Emmanuel's just an example of that.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
he was a big pivot from finance and economics all the way into the world of IT. And it's through those certifications. I mean, you and I, for example, you pivoted.
Yeah.
I was in the industry as a normal software engineer. However, I saw the fourth industrial revolution and I said, listen, I think things are pivoting to the cloud. So I looked at Microsoft and I'm like, I'm looking at you, Microsoft.
Yeah.
And I said, look, and I think it was similar to that time of getting your certifications. Look, I'm in the Microsoft space. I'm in the Microsoft Cloud platform, a Power Platform, where I had to get those certifications. As Emmanuel's mentioned, he obtained the Salesforce administration certification. So as you with your SAP certifications as well.
Yeah, I used to be a geneticist before becoming a software developer, and that was a completely different career change. And you know, I just kind of want to also give hope to people who are young, and we're kind of forced at 18 to make a decision that's supposed to affect the rest of your life.
I would say once you hit grade 10. Yeah, I think you're right.
They kind of say, pick your subjects and then decide what you want to do as your degree. Yeah. And your frontal lobe hasn't even developed yet.
Exactly.
Like you can barely decide what you want to do on your Friday evening, let alone what you're going to do with the rest of your career.
Life.
So you kind of go and do what your friends are going to do. And then you find that maybe that isn't going to align with your goals as a person, or it isn't going to align with who you are once you've like fully developed and you kind of know yourself better. And then you find yourself in an industry that you don't love. And pretty much that's the whole thing is, you know, it's never too late to pivot.
Never.
It's never too late to change direction. And sometimes the most important lesson is knowing when to quit, actually.
Agreed. Knowing when to quit. I mean, and we're going to pivot back to Emmanuel over here. I knew as a software engineer, okay, cool, code, you know, I majored in C#. So coding it on the cloud.
School, I like it.
Yeah, it was nice. You know, school level versus corporate is two different elements.
Yeah.
And from my experience, you're going to handle legacy code most of the time. And we know how many hands that's been in. And you have to figure out the logic and all that.
And then there's this one line of code that you can't change.
Change.
You don't know why it works, but it works.
It works.
And if you change this one line of code, the whole system
solution
goes
breaks.
down. Yeah.
And there's no documentation.
No documentation. That's the reality of corporate.
100%.
Yeah, that's the reality of corporate solutions. And I asked myself, you know, coding, I love it. I still do custom coding on the cloud platform. And I said to myself, look, this is for a young man's job here. I need to, of course, I'm thinking 10 years, 15 years from now. I'm not going to still be doing, no. You know, you would want to think of, okay, I'm going to have a family, I'm going to have kids. I can't be sitting for long hours like this. I'm neglecting. So, of course, that's where you pivot. And that's what we're chatting about, pivoting.
Yeah. And it like brings back to the thing of, I think sometimes in life we have to keep cognizant, because kind of when you grow up, everyone tells you, be persistent, keep going, don't stop. But the thing is what I've learned is, as the older I've gotten, it's actually knowing when to stop, knowing when to quit something, knowing when it's not going to serve you, knowing when to let something go in order to allow something new to come in. And sometimes you may have had parents that have, kind of pushed you into a sport and you hated the sport and you continued doing it because your parents told you, no, you have to do this because we don't quit.
Yeah, we don't quit.
But the thing is the older you get, you have to kind of learn when, and that's the important thing. And I think I want to ask you, Emmanuel, like what was the defining moment? What made you just know that you had to pivot?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So I love answering this question because I've had numerous people come up to me and they're like, how do I go from my point A to your point B? I said, look, don't look at me, because I fumbled and stumbled and just literally gripped onto anything I could until I found the guiding light. Literally my friend. I don't know how spiritual or, sort of in tune you guys are with your intuition, but you get given a sign and you have a choice. Take the red pill or the blue pill, right? From the Matrix.
That's true.
Are you going to stay where you are? Like Trinity says,
Yeah.
Do you want, where you're going to go and what you're going to do tomorrow if you get out the car and take pill A.
Yeah.
If you take pill B, new, exciting. Failure is guaranteed. Learning, 100%. Success, imminent, but time factor, right?
Always.
So I always come back to a saying that Stephen Bartlett from Diary of a CEO uses. He says, is the reward worth the risk on offer? So,
that is deep.
Let's just say
You actually wait. Just give me time.
Repeat that.
Yeah.
Is the reward worth the risk on offer? And I want to highlight how you worded this. It's not, is the risk worth the reward on offer? Because now you're thinking in future, yes, I want to do that, but it's going to get so hard for you to do that because you don't know what to expect.
Well, because you're a noob.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're a noob.
You come from a field where you're an expert or something.
Correct.
And you know everything. People come to you for help.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
you decide to pivot and you're the rookie. You
Yeah.
know how humbling that is.
It's
Like
humbling.
your ego just has to
Just
plummet.
has to drop.
It's true.
You can't
Yeah.
have any pride or any ego because
Can't.
now you are literally the intern again.
Correct.
After spending years
Years and years
Becoming
climbing the ladder.
The architect of this entire industry
Yeah.
and sort of knowledge.
Agreed.
And it's humbling, number one, but it sort of kicks you into gear to be like, I don't know everything.
Yes.
I need to start listening. And so I did a personality test once, and it said to me, it gives you the pros and the cons, which are very subjective, right? Because what's pro for me is a con for you. Like,
Agreed.
I enjoy talking. Oh, but he talks too much. Just as an example.
I've been told that.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Well, it's probably a good outlet. So
No,
podcast
100%.
then.
And that's the thing. It's like what you guys have mentioned. You have to use it or lose it. So agreed. Yeah.
Application is key on anything, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a whole philosophy around that. So the main ideals that I like to take away from any engagement is, what can I learn from this person? Because I don't know everything. What can I prioritize? Because one of the cons when I did this personality test said to me, you always think that everyone else thinks the way you do and prioritizes like you do. And I was like, but it's logically obvious. Like, there's 10 things we need to do. We can only do the first 2 before we can start tapping into the rest.
Right.
But then when you start talking and engaging to people, they're like, oh, no, but we can start at number 8. Like, no, but you can't. They're like, but yes, we can. And then you get those mixed signals, the miscommunication, and then things start falling apart. That's why communication A is key.
Always.
Always in every industry.
100%. B, the humbling factor, tying it back to that, is there's a famous quote, I think it's from Aristotle, where he says, the height of intelligence is being able to entertain an idea without accepting it as truth.
Whoa.
So when you sit with yourself and you're thinking about something, it's like, oh my gosh, the one thing I need to do in order to get my dream body before summer is I need to cut back on the sweets and I need to increase my protein and gym 7 times a week. No. You will find very quickly that your body, firstly, is not going to be able to do it. You've
Yes.
got to
It's
do
not
it
maintainable.
progressively. Absolutely.
Unmaintainable.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable.
Correct. And so I use that in conjunction with a quote from Bruce Lee. It's actually a philosophy that he uses. So Bruce Lee, the way he developed Jeet Kune Do is that he took the best attributes or moves, whatever you want to call it, disciplines from each different martial art and combined them into one. And this I use in conjunction with Aristotle quote, because if you think about it logically, this is what new age technologies are actually doing.
It is.
Yes.
Jack of all trades, master of
100%
none.
correct.
Yeah.
They're taking the pain points of other platforms' consumers and seeing if they can solve them, spawning different industries completely. And if you think about it, everyone goes back to Facebook. Look, it is an anomaly. Do not live your life by these one-shot wonders that sort of just took off.
Thank you. Because they can't replicate it.
No,
Yeah.
you cannot. You can try.
Try. Yeah.
You might stumble into something else, which is a whole different discussion entirely, right? Because then it's grit, discipline.
Persistence.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I want to bring it right back to where we started in terms of when knowing to quit. I ask myself this question. I always say to myself, can I see myself doing this in 5 years? Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Funny enough, I had that conversation with my father today where he pivoted away from medicine into business. Same scenario of, can I be doing this 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years, where I have more responsibilities on my plate. And just to bring us back as well in terms of Salesforce, I know for a fact that your Salesforce, which is a CRM platform, actually the world leader in CRM. And I know Kirsten Lake is within the SAP, which is the world leader of ERP systems, which is enterprise resource planning, and CRM is customer relationship management platforms.
Did you research it?
Of course, yeah. Because you guys are my rivals, and Microsoft is in none of them. That bothers me.
We can integrate. We'll integrate.
It will integrate, but what I like, we can integrate with everything and everything. And I want you just to give the viewers here, if I want to be, or if I want to go into Salesforce, SAP, Microsoft, remember, whatever you say, it will be applicable to our various platforms. But from a Salesforce perspective, because I do know some colleagues I went to university with, they're in Salesforce. There's one of my guys there working in Stan Bank and also at Blue Sky. Because even some companies are offering that training for all those certifications. I mean, you have at least, and I saw it's 8 certifications. Wow, I mean,
just putting it out there took a while. I think guys are going to come in here one day, like
bang it like that. Yeah, it took a while.
Experience to couple it back to.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Everything does. So I want to know, how do I get myself into Salesforce? How do I learn the platform, whether it be theory or in practice? And then certifications in terms of, okay, what's the journey? Because I know from a Microsoft perspective, there's functional consultants, there's developers, and architects. But now in the Salesforce realm, what is that pricing? And then what do you do once you obtain those set certs?
Great question. I love answering this one as well, because upfront, disclaimer, your journey is going to be different to mine and different to yours and different to everyone's, right? Because basically you have access to different things in terms of resources and information. What I like to do, and I've actually built a framework around this, which I think I'm going to release onto YouTube, just in terms of a guiding light for anyone looking to pivot from any career into their chosen career. If we're going to keep it in the Salesforce realm, you're going to go get your certification, and then you're literally going to go on LinkedIn and find people in that space, join groups, you're going to join discussion boards, and reach out to them and be like, hi, I've just been certified. Or even if you haven't, hi, how do I get certified? Where do I go?
Find a mentor.
Correct.
Mentor.
It is vital.
Within the platform.
Correct. My friend that was my mentor, all he did was send me the resources. And as soon as he started seeing that I was putting in the effort, failed his first attempt, passed the second attempt, then he started opening up to me.
Then he's invested in your journey.
Correct.
Because you can see the grind. Yeah.
100%. And then from then onwards, he was assisting me. He's like, I might know someone who needs a consultant to configure this ABC. It's a good learning curve for you. I'm like, excellent. And this helped me helped me assist the NPO in building up that side, because I knew nothing as well. And then the stakeholders there were seeing, oh, he does know what to do, which led on. But essentially, get certified, show people that you know what you're trying to do at least, and then reach out to them. Career days. What I also recommend is going to events. Every platform or every sort of technical capability has events. Some of them are free, right? You can just sign up. Like Salesforce has a lot of free ones in the country as well.
Also Microsoft,
Okay, beautiful, And what I would recommend is first see if it's what you want to do. Because when I started out doing Salesforce, it was like, oh, you're just going to click a few buttons and this thing's going to do magically put it all together for you. And we all know that's not the case.
No.
We all know.
Exactly. You get a functional consultant, which is like click here, declarative functional consultant, where you literally go in the back end and configure. It's like starting a Facebook account. You go and put in your ABCs and you do your thing. Then you get your technical consultants who are very much more involved. I would highly recommend job shadowing as well, if you can.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Good.
To know how to pivot.
Brilliant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, because you might think this industry is like ABC.
You really romanticize
100%.
industry. Yeah, because you've watched enough TV and you think you're going to be this like incredible like doctor that's going to be like House, or you think you're going to be this lawyer that's going to be like those lawyer shows.
Yes, on Suits.
And then you actually go and it's...
Totally different. And of course, it's, because it trains your mind to understand that the real world is very different to what you're sold. I mean, think of acting. So I did a stint once where I wanted to become an actor. I mean, I love music, I love acting, but I enjoy it in the sense that it spurs my creative side and I can express through that. So I actually went and signed up as an extra. Well, it was by fluke. A friend of mine was with an agency and she phoned me like, do you want to go away for a week in Sun City? Like,
hell yeah.
Sun City, I'd love to, you know what I mean?
Go ahead. Yeah.
For international,
Say less.
international listeners, Sun City is like a resort in South Africa.
Right.
And then she's like, do you want to get paid? And I'm like, I'd love to. What are we going to do? She's like, we're going to be an extra in a movie. It was a famous movie on the silver screen as well. Not going to dive into that.
Yeah.
But until I got onto that set and saw what you actually had to go through in acting, it's not the granny's red carpet. No, it's hurry up and wait. It's makeup, wardrobe, hair. Well, not hair for me. Wardrobe, makeup, so you don't shine. And you literally just wait. They bring everyone on set. They do camera adjustments. They'll check your face tone. They do a few iterations and run-throughs. And this taught me, this was a very quick lesson for me. I'm like, I don't want to be sitting here for 8 hours a day waiting for someone to finish up so I can go and do what I have to do.
100%.
And another friend of mine, he's a clinical psychologist. He said to me, we've got another friend in common. He says, I want to be a musician. I want to be a guitarist. So he says, well, you can play guitar, which he can. He says, I can. He's like, well, go home and play the guitar. Write a song. He says, what you want to be is famous. You don't want to be a musician. You want to be a famous musician.
100%. That is a good friend.
So that's a real friend, actually.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. You need those friends to tell you the hard truth.
Yeah.
So contextualizing what you want, putting your ego aside, like we said, and being like, okay, I actually do want to be famous. And I do want to be ABC. There's nothing wrong with seeking attention from others as long as it doesn't manipulate your objective.
Yeah, but also know that that's what you're striving for. Like if you are eluding yourself and you're even lying to yourself and you're saying, I really want to be a guitarist, but in reality your heart just wants to be famous. How are you ever going to get what you actually want if you can't even be real about what it is that you want?
It's true. Agreed. The 5-year question. Can I do this in 5 years? Can you stick it out in little bars and side shows, like farmers markets for 5 years?
For 5 years.
Sweating, getting sunburnt while drinking warm beer. For 5 years to become a famous musician, yes or no? If yes, go. That's your life's purpose.
Yeah.
Agreed. And I can even add on to that. That's what I actually mentioned just after COVID, like in 2021. I did say, look, 3 to 5 years from now, I want to be a senior where I am. And you don't ask yourself how. You ask yourself, okay, what do I need to do? And you have to trial, fail.
That's it.
All of that. So, no.
Sorry,
Emmanuel.
just before we end off, I think the main thing is what you want to achieve. My objective is to positively impact humanity. This is why I chose Salesforce, because I can do that with it, but I can do it in many other disciplines, and I'm sure you guys know how to as well.
Agreed.
So I'm just using these platforms as a gateway in order to do that.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
I know that our episodes are quite short, but that's kind of the way that we've structured it so that we can keep everybody's attention. But Emmanuel will be joining us for a couple more episodes, I think the next 2, and we're going to be diving into a couple of very interesting topics. So stick around for the next couple weeks. He's not going anywhere. We're going to be really diving into his mind on certain topics. So thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
My name is Kirsten Lake.
My name is Lwazi Shamase, and we are joined by our guest, Emmanuel Fousteris, and you just got...
Decoded.
That's right. Thank you very much.